Good evening. This evening I'm going to do a quick presentation on PyQt5 and a tip: keep the UI separate. Okay, why do you separate your UI from the calling code? Okay, and these are three of the reasons. It saves me time costs me money, so it saves me both. I can always use my calling code on any form, amend the code and test. Third option is, oops, I forgot to add a widget. I'm able to add a widget and not lose my code. So I'm going to demonstrate to you why I separate the UI from the main calling code. Okay, so I've got my Windows 10 machine over here. I go to my PyQt designer. I make a selection over here. So I want to create a dialog without buttons. I say create. Okay, so this is great. I've got a blank form. Okay, what do I want to do? Alright, I'm going to add a calendar widget here. Okay, I've got a calendar widget and I need to add a label. Okay, that's great. I've added a label. Yeah, so I'm going to save this file, save as, saving it in my INF2611 folder. I'm just going to call this calendar widget. Okay, save. I go here, type in CMD for my command prompt. I right click on this. I go say run as administrator. I say yes. From here I type in change directory, go to the root, and I say cd unisa INF2611. Okay, if I want to check what files are there, I've got two files, one called hello world py and one called calendar widget UI. Alright, now let me show you the first method. I'm going to convert the UI into a fully pledged Python program where I can copy and paste my code, and so it's great. It helps to have one file, but if I want to come and add a widget on, I'm going to find that the code that I've written has been lost. So I want to do that. I want to show it to you guys so that hopefully you understand why I would recommend keeping the UI code separate from the calling code. Okay, so the command for this is pyuic5 minus x. Okay, and then we say calendar. Okay, if I can spell correctly, minus o is the output, and we say calendar. Okay, and we say py. Alright, so this is one method of converting it and allowing Python to have all the execution code in it. Okay, so I'm going to minimize these screens. I'm going to go here and I'm going to have a look at the Python. Okay, I've got this screen open. I click on file, I go to open, and here's my calendar widget. Okay, if I click on open, you'll see here it's got all the UI information, and here is my snippet of code that is generated by the minus x variable. Okay, so this will come in handy a bit later. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to put it in Notepad. Okay, there we go, paste. Okay, so I'm going to create the label so that the label displays the current date. Okay, so we've done the conversion of the code. Yeah, so we open our file again, calendar widget. Alright, so we've got this code in here, okay? And as you can see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some code in here. Yeah, I've got it here already, okay? And what this code's going to do is display on the screen, and it will automatically load when I run this module, okay? So I say okay. Yeah, you see my label is now displaying my current date thanks to this. Now I realize, oh dear, the lecturer said I must add 2 calendar widgets to it. Okay, so now I want to go back and add a calendar widget, and so I open up my designer and I say to them, okay, I'm going to add another calendar widget here. So go to this calendar widget. Alright, I have to save this, and then I have to reconvert the file. Okay, so I use the same command as I did before. Click on convert. I go to file. I say open this calendar widget. Oh no, what happened to my code that I had typed here? It seems to have gone. And so this is one of the reasons why I normally keep my UR separate from the calling code and the UR separate, because I didn't want to have to save this piece of code in another file. It's just easier if I'm working with one UR file to get the result that I'm looking for. So instead of using this -x option, okay, I suggest you use the just the normal -o option, okay, like this. Alright, then when I go and open the code, you'll notice that it's missing the code to start up the form and display it. Okay, so now with this code open, I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to call this the calling file. So I'm going to go file, save as, and I'm going to say call calendar widget. Okay, go save. Alright, so now what I can do is I can easily copy the code that it generated before, alright, into this new calling code over here, like this. Okay, so that will always remain, and I'm going to leave this out at the moment because there's a lot of information that needs to happen at the start of this code. So if I ran this code, let's just run it and see what does it actually do. You can save it. You can see there it says it can't find Q application. It doesn't know anything about it, and the reason being is because we haven't imported the header information, and so the header information is quite important. Okay, so let me get one of my codes here. The first line we start off with is import sys. Okay, so that's like to allow it to be Python to talk to Qt. Okay, then we say from Qt 5.qt widgets import Q Dialog. Since we created a Q Dialog application, and then Q application. Okay, and this is the line where we're saying this is our UR file import. Okay, so here we say from, and then the name of our UR file, which in this case is called Calendar Widget. Okay, so I will just call it from Calendar Widget. okay, and then we're saying import everything. So what that means is we wanted to import all of these objects over here. Alright? Okay. Then we need to create a class. Okay? So we say class, and we say my form and Q dialog. Alright? Then we need to initialize our form. Okay? So this is where the def comes in, which is definition, as all our methods are defined as def. Okay, underscore underscore init underscore underscore, and then open brackets self, meaning the program itself. Parent is equal to none, okay, because there is no parent. This is the parent, okay. Then there's a super, okay, dot underscore underscore init underscore underscore, open brackets, close brackets. And then from here we are talking about self UI, and we're picking up our self UI from this UI dialog over here. So we say UI dialog, we make sure we copy that, and we open it up like that, open and close brackets. Alright, then we're saying self.ui dot, and we're calling this method over here, which is setup UI, okay. And we're saying assign it the value self, okay, just like it is here. It's a self, it's a dialog, okay. Now what I can do is from this I can basically, I should be able to run the thing, and it should show because I've got dialog show over here. Alright, so let's try it out and see if we are able to run. There we go, we're able to run it. But as you can see, my label is still called text label because it doesn't have the code on it. Okay, so now I'm going to go back here and I'm going to create a definition, and I'm going to initialize it on the startup. But what I need to do is I'm going to create a button that's going to call it. So let's just save this as it is. Okay, I'm happy to save, so I just need to go file, save. Okay, we can close it, we can close it, we can close this file. So now I can go and add a button. Alright, we're looking for a push button, so here it is, push button. Okay, I'm going to leave the name as a push button. I want to save this form. I'm going back to my prompt, and I'm just going to convert the form. So now if I go here and I say file, open, and I have a look at my calendar widget, which is my form, okay, or my UI code, you'll see now I've got an extra option of a push button. Okay, and so my code, I don't really worry about this code because it's just the UI button. Now if I go click on open, and I open up my calling code, all my calling code is still there, so it hasn't changed. So now I can create a signal and slot for my push button. Okay, so for my push button, I'm going to write here self.ui, okay, dot push button. Since push button, if you have a look here, push button is the object name, and so that's where I get the name from to add into my code. Alright, so this is push button, so I can just copy it and I can paste it here, and it's there. Okay, and then I'm calling the clicked signal. Okay, so when a person clicks it, and then I'm connecting it to I want to connect it to a self, and I'm just going to say disp day. Okay. Alright, so now that's added a signal and slot to my push button, and now I'm defining this disp day. Okay, and I'm assigning it to self. Alright, and now I can just copy and paste this code that I've got here. There we go. I click on run, say run module. I go OK, and there, when I click push button, it should display. Why doesn't it want to display? Self UR push button, click to connect, self display. Yeah. Ha! Because I copied the code from somewhere else, I forgot to add this as self UI. So that's the reason why it's not displaying. So let's go run it again and see. Oh wait, also, yeah, everything must change to self UI. So this is also not going to display because it doesn't have a self UI. Alright, so let's go run module. Okay, so now I've got the first selected. Click on push button. Is it going to work? No, doesn't want to work still. What am I still missing? Self UI. Everything should be self UI label. Okay. Have I got an open? Shouldn't have it opened anyway. Okay, so when I run this code, you'll see I'm clicking on push button and nothing's happening. And the reason that this is because Python is saying, hey, you've gone and created a new instance of a new dialog here, whereas we've got a class defined over here called my form. And so we're not creating any instances of a form. So I've gone and copied the code that needs to work to get it to work. So this line of import sys, this line you don't use because you've already got it at the top over here, so we don't need it. This line of app equals Q widgets, I'm not sure if it makes any difference, but in the normal way, this is how you would call it for your calling code. Okay, then this dialog part, we wouldn't use this dialog part. We wouldn't use this because this UI dialog is already defined over here. Okay, and the same with this UI setup dialog, it's already displayed over there. Okay, dialog show we replace with w.show because we're creating an instance of a form. So the bits of code that we need to add is w. This is the instance of the form that we create. Okay, over there like that, and then here is our show command. Okay, we use the show command. So now when I run this, you can see the difference. Select the date, click on push button, and voila, my date appears. So this is the reason why I keep my form and my calling code separate, is because this is just easier for me. I can add more widgets, I can make as many calls to this conversion program as I need, and it doesn't affect my main code. And if I want to create another form, I can easily go and do that. I can close this down. Let's just close it, and I say I want to create a new form. This form, I just want a push button on it, and yeah, maybe let's put a, well, what else can we put on? Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but we can put a push button, we can put another, yeah, even an LCD timer, whatever we want to put on here. We save this form, we can call it test 2 or something, okay, whatever you want to call it. Alright, we go to our command prompt, we type in this conversion tool, okay, we just test 2 UR minus O, and then what I'm going to do is suggest that you put a UR underscore and then test2.py. okay, so now we've got our code. So let's go, we're going to close this down here. We're gonna I'm gonna close this calling code for now, and I'm gonna close this over here, okay, and we've got our Python program open. I'm gonna click on File, Open. I want to see what my UR looks like. So this is my UR code. It's only got a push button on it. I'm going to open my calling code and say open and call Calendar Widget. Can go here. I can say, oh, I don't need any of this. I'm not going to have any of these widgets here. And I only need to change this bit, the header part. What is it called? UR test 2. UR test 2. I can go here, file, save as. I can say call test 2 program. Save. I can click on run module, and okay, it's moaning about a display. Okay, this self-display. I should have taken that line out as well. Okay. Run module. Go okay. And voila, my other form runs. Guess what? I didn't have to save too many files. I haven't had to go out of my way to do much. It was something very simple. So I can always use this file as like a template to run multiple other codes that I want to create. And yeah, as I say, it saves time saves money, and I'm happy to save both. I hope that this video is helpful for you and that you don't just go and copy the code, because really you're not learning anything by just copying the code. Listen to the video, listen to the contents, try and absorb what you can, and ask questions what you don't understand. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Good luck with INF2611. Thanks. Goodbye.